People deluded, I'm back again now. Young Osei-Tutu. Now, he's a player I like. I know my bias is towards Vontae Daly-Campbell. Car for me, he's the one I would have been blooding into this club eventually. He's still a second-year scholar. A lot of things to work on, but he's a player I believe had the ability to eventually, or to be given the opportunity to progress into the first team. It looks like he's going to depart because at this moment in time, he hasn't signed a new deal and his contract's up. So although I know no one connected to him, you could, until the club come out and said he signed a new deal, yeah. Osei-Tutu is a player I got a lot of time for as well. Admittedly, I don't have a huge admiration from him. That I rate him. I rate these guys. I like him. I actually love the guy. But it's that I never scream for these players and gas up things. And you lot know I don't say players are going to be the next, this, that, and the third. But I like him. I don't think he's perfect. I think he's got a long way to go. I feel defensively he's improved since I first saw him in the academy. He's come a long way. His strengths used to be probably a bit more that way than that way. But in the last 18 months or so, he's become a bit more of an all-rounder. Could probably still improve in the air and slightly in terms of his positioning. But he's improved greatly with that. And it's not that deep anymore, to be honest with you. He's tenacious in his approach. He's got a good engine. He'll get up and down. And I think he'd thrive within literally the wing-back role, similar to Kohler. There's not, for me anyways, as a fullback, not to these lots levels, I was grassroots, there's no difference between being a wing-back and being a fullback. Yes, as a wing-back, you're more or less a winger more, you have more of a license to go forward, but nothing changes. You still got to defend. You're just literally positioned a bit higher up, and there might be an extra centre-half. But I do believe he would be very good in the wing-back position, to be fair with you, because he is quite good going forward. I can't remember if it was against City or Spurs, his under-23s, but he got 2 assists for Joe Willock. He's very decent at that. He's very decent in the final third. He's got a good first touch. He doesn't panic in situations. He's decent when people try and press him. Obviously, as a player that plays out wide, you're going to find yourselves in positions where it's awkward. He thrives on that sort of thing. At times, obviously, he can overcover for his centre-half and probably gets a bit too tight, but there's a lot of things to like. Obviously, specific to Arsenal's first team, you're looking at Lichtsteiner, and it doesn't matter if it's poor performances or when he's playing, ironically, decent form like against Southampton, he breaks down, he comes off injured, and to be honest, he played in Europa League. We know he's 35 years of age. He probably shouldn't be given his extension and for the next season. He's shown he physically looks unable to be able to do it. Bellerin sadly out for the remainder of the campaign. Maitland-Niles can be shoehorned there, as could Mustafi, like in the second half or whenever it was that Lichtsteiner came off in first half, against Southampton. Neither are out-and-out fullback options, and we need someone that can go there. I know some fans are very, I find it weird. They say they don't want 2 top fullbacks. I get it. You don't want discontent, but I can't understand how we can't sign Wan-Bissaka, but I've seen people say we shouldn't go for Wan-Bissaka because we've got Hector Bellerin. I love Hector Bellerin. I think Wan-Bissaka is a bad boy footballer. I would love to have both of them as options. Obviously, if one's not playing, one could be upset and stuff, but that's a fantastic 2 options to have. May the best team win. You should always aim for 2 very good players. Obviously, I'm not saying sign off 11 Messis, they'll be discontent, or 11 Eden Hazards, but they will bring out the best in players, to be fair with you. We're not going to do that. We're not going to bring in a fullback, at least if it's not for cut price or a lesser known profile. We can't sign Wan-Bissaka. We've got 40 million, but how much is our budget? Osei-Tutu needs to be given a chance. He's developed a long way in the last 18 months. Sadly, this season as well, it's been disrupted a lot with injuries, and the key thing for him is probably to try and stay fit. If he can stay fit, he could probably get chances. He's 20 years of age. Like I said, the last 18 months were good. The next 18 months are crucial. 20 years of age. If I'm him, I don't want to be playing under 23 football next year. If he's sent out on loan, then you have to wonder, why did we let Vontae Daly-Campbell go? Because that would be an out-and-out fullback in Osei-Tutu allowed to go out to be on loan. Oli Yinka would be playing still. He signed a new deal, but assuming he'd still be the team's right back at under 23s level, we have to assume that we'd still be shoehorning 2 first team level players into the fullback position, and there'd be nobody available, so it would make no sense. So you'd be inclined to think Osei-Tutu is going to get a promotion similar to probably Joe Willock within the next season or so, but he needs to play first team football. You can't get experience without getting experience. He's not going to be perfect. He needs to be blooded, to be fair, similar to Carl Walker-Peters at at Spurs. He needs to learn lessons. Kyle Walker-Peters, I watched him. I've always liked him. He's decent at academy level, but he would have learned a lot playing Barcelona when he made that mistake, what was it, at Wembley, playing Barcelona in the group stages, more so than he would have ever learned in about 2 years at under-23 football. You immediately learn what you did wrong. That's the stage he's at. So he either needs to play football here or play football on loan somewhere. He can't be 20 years of age playing on the 23s. It's not going to teach him anything. He's going to get stuck in that conundrum. Of course, at club level, if you're in Emery, you have to be a bit selfish in that. You care about the player's development, but you've got to think about bodies. If Lichtsteiner's not given a new deal, Bellerin comes back and he gets injured, and obviously Maitland-Niles and Mustafi, assuming they're still here, can be used there, you need another option, to which Osei-Tutu would obviously join in first team training, maybe even travel with the side like he's done on a couple of occasions in the Europa League, and to which he's not really going to play, so he'd have to probably get the minutes under 23 football, similar to, it's quite different, but Phil Foden, he's playing for City, but 9 times out of 10 he's not playing 90 minutes, so without even looking at under 23s, he probably has here and there get some appearances under his belt at that level, or like you see with Eddie Nketiah and Joe Willett when they travel. So he's at that level where he needs to, if he can stay fit, he needs to go out and play men's football, because obviously he's still 20, people develop at different stages, but for me personally, the ideal scenario, you join the club, well, full-time at 16, you're trying to push into that under-23s the same year as a 16-year-old. If not, you want to get there at 17. You want to be in under-23 football by 18. Ideally, if you're still in the under-23 footballs, you want to be drumming up interest to go out on loan from 17. The age of 19, you have to be ready. As Arsene Wenger says, if you're not ready then, you're never going to be ready. And what it means by that is, obviously, there's a lot to work on. I'm not asking you to be perfect, but if you're not ready to be thrown in and thrive and be able to deal with the temperament and deal with the technical level, you never will be. At 19, you want to elevate yourself either into first team level or going on loan. Now, I know a lot's been made of young players going to Germany and things like that, and I like it, but there's also, I think there's going to be a debate to be had about patience, because a lot of players are just moving to silly places, in my opinion, for no reason. It's catch-22. I know a lot of clubs use the word patience as a reason as just to not play players, but yeah, man, that's for another day. In short, I believe Osei-Tutu should be given a chance. And to be honest, if at this moment, I don't know Lichtsteiner's injury. I watched the press conference like you lot in regards to our game against Bournemouth. But at this moment in time, I just saw Lichtsteiner break down and have to come off the pitch. I see Bellerin injured. Maitland-Niles isn't involved in any capacity. Hopefully he's back. And if you're Osei-Tutu, you're thinking, all right, it's my time to shine. And to be fair, you remember he did use him in pre-season and he hasn't featured since. So he was upon a time on Unai Emery's thinking. And he is in a position as fullback where you can get your opportunities. He's 20 years of age, so it's now or never, essentially, to be fair with you. Obviously, there's rare cases and things like that, but I like him. He can actually play all right on the left-hand side. That's not his position, but at a push. So, yeah, man. Obviously, we've got some tough games, and I'm not advocating for him to be thrown in against Spurs and United. It's not the most healthy of environments, but at the same time, sink or swim. And at the same time, it would be a risk. And to be honest, if I'm Unai Emery, as much as Maitland-Niles and Mustafi aren't fullbacks, I'll be probably leaning towards using them against United and Spurs than I would Osei-Tutu, and again, in a sense that you've got to trust these players, and I would consider him a genuine option. But for me, people, as a man that loves young players, I'm very wary of throwing players in. Obviously, there's sink or swim, but I'm very wary of throwing players into what I call dangerous environments, because then you've got to worry about the psychological things. You've got cutting away from that, you've got to be able to deal with it, and it's got to happen sometime, I guess, but I'm sure the majority of you will get the point I'm at. Either way, you've got to be thinking, like, surely he gets a look in, or if you're Osei-Tutu, you might even be thinking, what more have I got to do to get a look in, really and truly? You surely got to be thinking, not just him, anyone that can play fullback at this level at Arsenal, surely you've got to be thinking, I can do better than these lads, I need my chance or whatnot, but it's not for me to answer. I'm not connected with the club, but I've got nothing more to say, people, so I'm going to get out of your hair. People, deluded, stay safe. I'm out, man. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest.